Hi everyone, my name is Mishka and I'm a registered migration agent with Pathway Education and Visa Services. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about graduate visa subclass 485. And this visa is for people who studied in Australia and graduated in Australia. So this visa is usually for onshore, but because of this COVID period, they do let client to lodge the application offshore as well. But this is just for this period. We are not sure if it's going to be continue or it's just for this COVID period. And the 485, we have two pathways. One is PSW and the other one is graduate. They are quite similar, but a little bit different. For the PSW, you get 2 to 4 years visa depending on what you studied. But for this pathway, PSW, you usually need higher education, bachelor degree, master's degree, or research. And you cannot apply for PSW if you studied a trade course. And also, if your first student visa was granted before 2011, again, you cannot apply for PSW. So if your first student visa was granted in 2010, you have to apply for graduate stream, not the PSW stream. And for both of this stream, graduate stream and the PSW, you have to study 2 years in Australia. The qualification is different. One needs higher education and the other one could be trade courses, but it's quite similar. You have to study for 2 years. And of course, you have to provide evidence of English for both of them. You have to provide insurance, police check, qualification documents, identity documents, and any other supportive documents with your application. But for generation of the visa is different. With the PSW, you get 2 years visa normally, unless if you're doing a PhD. If you did a PhD, then you get a 4 years visa, or research degree, you get a 4 years visa. But if you just did a master degree or a bachelor degree, then you just get a 2 years visa. If you did a trade course, you get 18 months or 1.5 years visa. Only Hong Kong passport holders get a 5 years visa. If they studied a 2 years course in Australia, they are eligible for up to 5 years visa. Some client been telling us that if you study in regional, you get 3 years visa. Well, this is something everyone says, but practically there is nowhere in the legislation which lets you to apply for 3 years visa. You will be eligible for 4 years visa if you have done research, but if you just did a bachelor degree or a master's degree or a trade course, you will not getting 3 years visa. So that is not true at this stage. It may come in the future, but we're not sure. But at this stage, no, that's not true. If you study, you will get 3 years TR visa from the regional. The fees and processing time for these two pathways quite similar. Main applicant will be paying 1,650 and dependent applicant will be paying around 825, but only if your dependent lodged application at the same time as the main applicant. If you lodge your visa and it's still under process and you would like to add your partner later on, before the application is decided or before the visa is granted, she or he will be paying dependent fees, which is around 825, and then of course on top of that there's 1.4% credit card surcharge. But if your visa is already finalized, granted, and you're holding a 485 visa and you wish to apply for subsequent entrants 485 visa or graduate visa for your partner, then she will be the main applicant for that application. Because it's a separate application, then she will have to pay the full amount. So that is something I wanted to talk about to make it clear, but everything else remains the same. You have to provide everything else as you provide with your application, except your partner doesn't have to provide any, of course, evidence of graduation in the past 6 months or things like that, but he or she must show evidence of relationship if they're going as a dependent. And so that's the only different thing. And if you're doing together, you don't have to lodge paper application. It can be done online. But if you're doing as a dependent, it must be paper application. For graduate visa, the immigration doesn't say it's a prerequisite or it's something necessary to be on a student visa when you apply for 485. It's not one of the criteria. But the criteria is you have to provide completion letter that you graduated 6 months ago. So your qualification is valid for 6 months to apply for a graduate visa, either of them, whether it's a 485 PSW or graduate stream. You can apply 6 months from the date you finish your qualification. Well, even if it's 1 day later, you can try it, but most of the time your application will either bounce back as an invalid or it will be refused. So everything else remained the same. They do say the processing time as per the immigration website 3 to 7 months, but it doesn't take that long. If you lodge a perfect application, you should get the outcome very quickly, but it really depends. And you do need a lot of documents with this. It does seems to be very straightforward application, but it's not, because it's similar. It's basically more than a student visa application. You have to provide a lot of documents. You have to provide all your documents correctly to get the visa, because the immigration can refuse your application on the basis that the 2 years of study is not 2 years to meet Australian study requirements, or they may say your qualification is more than 6 months old, or your visa is not the right visa, something like that. If you're going to do a trade course in Australia and you consider graduate visa, you will only get 1.5 years of graduate visa, but during this period you will be able to complete your trade skill assessment and through TRA and get a full skill assessment, which will be used for PR. So my advice for students who are willing to study a course after getting the graduate visa, I would say you only have the right to apply for graduate visa once in a lifetime. Do not apply it as soon you finish your qualification. For example, if you studied trade course and then you want to get the TR and then later on apply for another course, master's degree or bachelor's degree or another trade course, you only get TR once in lifetime. You got to keep it for the time when you're ready to use it, either for working to claim point or doing professional year or doing your trade job ready program. So you have to consider these three, because these three needs TR, because it gives you full work right. If you're planning for PY later on, you have to keep your TR for that. If you're planning to get your job ready program later, you have to keep your TR for that. And of course, for like if you planning to get Australian experience, you need full work rights. This is the visa. But for Australian experience, 20 hours is accepted, so you don't actually need TR. You can work on a student visa and get experience if you need. So this is just a little session on graduate visa. I will be having another session on trade skill assessment, job ready program, and also the graduate stream of this visa. If you do want to lodge your application with us, we've got good deal for a package of TR and PR. So you will basically not be paying much for the TR, because we'll be dealing with your PR application. So you can contact us for free consultation and also talking about the contract and everything. Then we will give you a good package. Especially during this period, we've got promotion because most of our clients lost their job because of COVID. So we try to reduce the service fees and also try to make it a package to make it affordable for our clients. Anyways, you still get 10 minutes free consultation if you don't lodge your application with us. So you're welcome to contact us for a free consultation. If you need extra advice, you can book a paid consultation, and your consultation fee will be refundable once you start your application with Pathway Education and Visa Services. This is all for today. Thank you so much for your time.